Om Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvavighnopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Yenakshara Samamnayam Adhigamya Maheshwarat Kritsnam Vyakaranam Proktam Tasmai Paninaye Namaha Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Vagarthaviva Samprikto Vagarthav Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwaro Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Namaste. So we'll get started today. We're looking at this topic of Avyaya from Dhatus. We'll continue it today in our class. So that will be on page 155. So we will start there in a moment. And before we do that, so our topic today will be Avyaya from Dhatus, but also Avyayas in general. So hopefully if we get some time, we're going to do some exercises and see some Avyaya indeclinables. So before we do that, we'll chant our Maheshwara Sutra. Om A-I Un Rilik E-Ong I-Ouch Haya Varata Lan Nyama Gananam Jabhanya Ghadadash Jabagadadash Kapha Chatha Chatatav Kapai Shashasar Hal Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani. Om Su Au Jas Ot Shas Ta Bhyam Bhis Ge Bhyam Bhyas Ngasi Bhyam Bhyas Ngas Os Am Ni Os Sup. Okay. So it's good we start off this way, we start off successfully. So if you made it this far and you've learned this, that's a successful start to the class. So you can, it's supposed to be enjoyable Sanskrit, so make sure you're enjoying along the way. We can't forget the title of our book, Enjoyable Sanskrit. We have to make sure we're enjoying. And so we will start with, as promised, this Avyaya from Dhatu. This is, again, page 155 in the book, near the back of the book, not quite at the end. So this is in the Avyaya section. So Avyayas, we saw these indeclinables, and one of the way we can make the Avyaya is from a Dhatu. Okay, so this opens up a lot of words for us that we'll see. For example, in Bhagavad Gita, we will see one of these words today. These are very commonly used. what we do is we're suffixing, right? This suffix twa, right? We suffix twa to a dhatu, and it gives the sense of having done something. So let's just read this for clarity, right? When there is more than one action done by the same karta in a sentence, the last action has to be told by the tinganta padam. Okay, so the last action will be told by the verb. Other actions which happen chronologically before the last action can be told by an avyaya word derived from the dhatu of the action and the suffix twa. So for example, having remembered a verse, he knows the meaning, right? The action of remembering takes place before knowing, right? Here we have remembering and knowing. Remembering takes place before knowing. Thus, the first action is told by suffixing twa to the dhatu smr, resulting in smritva. And the action of knowing is told by the tinganta padam bodhati. So, shlokam smritva artham bodhati. Right? So there's a flow of time. The last one is told by bodhati, the other one is told by smritva. So that's just a review of what we saw. We also saw that when the dhatu has an upasarga, twa is replaced by ya. This suffix lyap, L-Y-A-P, lyap. But it's just finally we left with yakara. So this example, anu bhu, because it has an upasarga, instead of twa, I'm going to add a yakara, this lyap. So it's going to be anu bhu ya. Okay. And when there's an upasarga in dhatu, but the dhatu ends with the rasva, short vowel, then you're going to get an extra letter takara after the dhatu. So like prastu, and then we want to add, because there's an upasarga, we add yakara, but here we add an extra takara. So prastutya. So I'm going a little bit fast because we saw this last time. What I want to spend more time on today is looking at some examples. So you can go to the back of the book, exercise 22, page 179. Page 179. There's some of these exercises. So we'll learn this concept by also doing these exercises. And also exercises are more fun and they're more practical, right? So we'll spend time doing some of these. I think we saw number 1 last time, so maybe we can start with number 2. That sounds right. Okay, so we'll start with number 2. Either way, if we can, yeah. Okay, number 2. Shishyaha there's a question in the chat. We'll come back to that if we have time in a bit. Number 2, Shishyaha Acharyam Upagamya Prashnam Prichati. Okay, so one thing is that, of course, we need to know the cases, but here some vocabulary will be involved. If the vocabulary doesn't come to you quickly, that's okay. That's why we're doing it together. But it's always helpful to have a dictionary around, either a book dictionary or an online dictionary, and I can show you some online dictionaries as well. So just so we know that it's sometimes the vocabulary doesn't always come to us so quickly and what it means. But first, let's first we want to just pick up which is our verb. Shishya acharyam upagamya prashnam pritchati. So you see the verb all the way there. You see this pritchati. Pritchati. And then we have a verb-like word in Avyaya, which is derived from a dhatu. Yeah, I can see you mouthing it with your mouth. Yep, upagamya. Okay, so now here, this is a bit tricky. We don't have twa. Okay, so it's a little bit more hidden. But you see, upa, gam, ya. So we have the dhatu, right? Gam, 1p to go, right? Gacchati, that's where gacchati. Ramaha vanam gacchati. That's the first sentence we always see. So we know gam, okay? Gam is to go. Now upasarga. Upa plus gam. And so I'm not going to have twa, I'm going to add lyap. I'm going to add the yakara. So upagamya. Okay, now what does upagamya? Now, luckily, if you go back to where we started, page 155, you can put a note there as well. We're gonna have to go back and forth, that we do have some of these dhatus with the meanings there. So that's a good resource, that it does give you a lot of these common ones already listed there. If we didn't have this, then we would use the dhatu kosha. The dhatu kosha, dhatu pat. And in the dhatu kosha, what we would do is we would go to the section at the end where it has upasarga plus dhatus. And what we would find is upagam, to approach. Right, sorry, gam means to go, but upagam means to approach. Okay. It's a similar meaning, but slightly different connotation. Okay, so it's to approach. So upagamya is having approached. Okay. So having approached. Now, just like a verb, we would still want to look for our first case. Connected to this, here we have shishya. Shishya. So this is asubantam padam. Pratipadika of shishya. Shishya is shishya. It's a ending, masculine, just like Rama. And supratyaya, this is 1-1. Vibhakti arthaha this is kartari prathama, to both upagamya and pritchati, really both. Because one karta having multiple actions, that's when we even do this, right? So it's going to be kartari prathama to multiple things. So the shishya means what? Student, disciple. Student, upagamya, approaches what? Acharyam. Okay, so we have to be very deliberate. Acharyam. Okay, pratipadika. Acharya, it's a ending. I believe it's masculine. Yeah, acharya, a ending, masculine. Supratya, just like Rama, so we see that makara at the end, we know it's 2-1. Ramam Acharyam. So this is Ditya Vibhakti Ekavachanam, and Vibhakti Arthaha Karmani Dvitiya to Upagamya, not to Prichati, but to Upagamya. So really what we would, when we're translating this, we would leave out the karta at first. So when we're translating this, we would really want to say, having approached the teacher, then what happens? Having approached the teacher, Shishyaha Prashnam Prichati. Okay, so Prichati, Tingantam Padam, Dhatu is Prich. 1P, to ask. Okay, Prich, you get the word Prashna also from this, same Dhatu, but it becomes eventually to ask, right? Ting Pratyaya, this is Lat Lakaraha, Kartari Prayoga, Pratama Purushaha, Ekavachanam. Okay, so we should be able to go systematically through each of these. So I'm being threadbare, very annoying on purpose. Just we have to get this format in our mind. We have to go through this every time. And then it becomes automatic. Right? So this means he, she, it asks. Who asks? Shishya asks. Right? We already saw Shishya. So the Shishya asks what? Asks a prashnam. Prashnam. Prashnam, Pratipadika, Prashna, ending. I'm not sure if it's masculine Napumsaka, we can look that up. Prashna. And it's Supratya, Ditya Vibhakti, Ekavachanam, it's 2-1. Vibhaktyartha, this is Karmani Dutiya to Prichati. Yeah? So this is feeling okay? So, translating it. Having approached the teacher, the student asks a question. Having approached the teacher, the student asks a question. Okay. I'm trying to look up Prashna quickly. Or I mean, like, it is masculine. It is masculine. Okay, so it is a masculine word. How did I do that? I want to show you this quickly. I downloaded Golden Dictionary, which I can show you how to do. Golden Dictionary looks like this, and you can search different words. Then you get all the definitions here. This is Golden Dictionary. So you can search. So Prashna first didn't come up what I was looking for immediately, but Prashna, what I'm looking for is a question. Oh, sorry. A question is down here, the second one, and it says M, masculine. Okay, let's do one more of these, or two more of these. And we'll go a little bit faster this time. Okay, number 3. Purushaha Shastranam Artham Avagamya tushyati ramate cha. Okay, so longer, it's a little bit longer sentence, and there's more verbs. Okay, so here, what's our verbs? You see tushyati. What else do we see? Ramate. And this is not a verb, but it's verb-like. It's an avyaya manner, so it's avagamya, right? It's worth finding in the beginning. Okay, so here we have three different things. Let's start with our avyaya. So avagamya. So now what does avagamya? We know that it's ava plus gam dhatu, just like what we saw. Gam 1p to go. But when it's with ava, we see right here, avagam, meaning it means to understand. Okay, so it completely changes the meaning. Avagam means to understand. So avagamya is having understood something. So having understood what? Shastranam artham. Okay, so directly it would be connected with artham. Artham is, so avagamya, by the way, avyaya, right? So there's not much information they give. We would say avagam. Yeah. So, artham, this is artha, ending, masculine. This is dvitiya vibhakti, ekavachanam, karmani dvitiya to avagamya. Yeah. Okay, so we're going a little faster here. Having understood what? Having understood the artha. Artha means not wealth, it means the meaning. The meaning. Having understood the meaning. Artha. Artha of what? Shastranam. Shastranam. Okay, so this is, start from the beginning. Shastra pratipadika, akaranta, punlinga. I always doubt. We'll have to double check these, but either way, if it's masculine or neuter, it won't change our cases here. Masculine. This is shashti vibhakti, bahuvachanam, right? You see that nam. Exactly. And the vibhakti artha is sambandhe shashti to artham. Yeah, we don't take it to the verb, we take it to another noun when it's sambandha. Sambandha means the connection, it's the possession, in a way. Okay, so having understood artha, the meaning of shastra, of the scriptures, plural, scriptures. So having understood the meaning of the scriptures, now what happens? Purushaha tushyati ramate cha. Okay, notice how cha is at the end. You know, in English, we would say Rama and Lakshmana. Cha is also an avyaya, by the way, so we don't say chaha cho che, cham cho chan, not like that. Just cha. And we usually see it in two ways. We either say Ramaha Lakshmanaha cha, or we would say Ramaha cha Lakshmanaha cha. So it can either be at the end of the series or after each word in the series. Now here, what's being anded? What's being anded? They're saying tushyati and ramate. Okay, so having done something, he does two more things simultaneously. So there's no time passage in those last two. They happen at the same time. But this is definitely before these two. I hope that makes sense. This happens, then these two happen simultaneously. Okay. Tushyati, tush dhatu, latlakaraha, kartri prayoga, pratama purusha ekavachana. Tush, by the way, 1p, it means to be pleased or to be satisfied. To be pleased or to be satisfied. Yeah, that's correct. It is not 1p, that it is 4p. That's why you see the Yakara, tushya, 4p. So that's a good correction. 4p, tushyati, to be pleased. So he's pleased, he's enjoying. Ramate, ram dhatu, 1a. So atmanipada, right? Latlakara, kartari prayoga, pratama purusha, ekavachanam. It means to play, ram, right? To play or to revel. We look at our first case, who? Purushaha. So the purusha, the person, is satisfied and enjoys, right? Is having, the purusha is happy and plays. Is pleased and plays. Or revels. What? Having understood the meaning of the Shastra, the person enjoys what? Enjoys everything. And life as though is playing. He plays. Or he revels in all of the activities. Or revels in the knowledge. Okay, so how do we feel so in these two sentences? Thumbs side, thumbs down, okay. Go faster, thumbs up, or go keep it, it's okay. Thumbs to the side, it's okay. All right, I'll go a little faster. Let's look at number 8. Devam pranamya shlokam likhitva saha vedan patati. What a nice sentence. What, you just memorize some of these sentences and you'll be a nice pundit at the next next outing you go to. Okay. Devam pranamya shlokam likhitva saha vedan patati. Okay. So if we define our verb and verb-like words. Verb is patati. Okay, so we're gonna make sure we're noting that. Other words that are similar, we see likhitva, tva, and one more, pranamya. Okay, that's nam dhatu, pra upasarga, pranam. Okay, let's start. Now, we don't know which happens first between pranamya and likhitva. We don't really necessarily know. We know that these happen before patati. Okay. But generally, the author will write this in order of time. When it comes to shlokas, the order might be mixed up to meet the meter. But when writing prose, oftentimes it comes in order of time. So, Devam Pranamya. Okay, so Pranamya. Pra upasarga nam dhatu. Okay, nam dhatu is nam. You see up here what I'm writing, 1p. Now the nakara becomes murdanya because of natva sandhi. Okay. It means to bow, right? to prostrate. I bow. So pranam, pra means having bowed very well. So full shashtang pranams, or you're getting fully down. Okay, pranamya. So having bowed or having prostrated to what? Devam. So devam, deva, akaranta, pullinga, deva shabda, dvitiya vibhakti, ekavachanam, karmani dvitiya to pranamya. Okay. So what do we know so far? Having bowed to the to God. Now, shlokam likitva, having bowed to God, now shlokam likitva, lik dhatu. Having an Indian language background, it helps a lot because then you know what to lik is, right? Lik is to write, 1p. So likitva, so having written what? Shlokam. Shlokam is shloka, akaranta. This is dvitiya vibhakti, ekavachanam, karmani dvitiya to likitva. Notice how we're getting a lot of karmani dvitiyas. It doesn't always have to be karmani dvitiya. Okay, you can get tritiya, you can get chaturthi vibhakti also. You can see all these different things. A lot of times you get tritiya vibhakti as we see here, but it's not always. Just by the way. So having bowed to the Lord, having written a shloka. So having bowed to the Lord and having written a shloka, saha vedan patati. Patati, okay. You say it with me, right? Patati. Dhatu is pat, 1p, to read or to study. Ting pratyaya, lat lakaraha, kartari prayoga, pratama purushaha, ekavachanam. So he, she, it reads. So now we go to our first case. So this is third one. Saha, right? Saha is, pratipadik is tad, tad. yeah, if we remember that. Tad, pratipadika. This is sarvanama shabda. This is masculine. First case, singular, right? So pratyaya is 1-1. Vibhakti arthaha is kartari prathama to patati. So saha patati. He reads. He reads what? Vedan. He reads Vedan. Vedan is, pratipadika is Veda, akaranta pullinga, dvitiya vibhakti, bahuvachanam, Raman, like Raman, so Vedan. Then vibhakti artha, the karmani dvitiya to patati. Okay. Whew. So having bowed to the Lord and having written a shloka, he reads the Vedas. Okay. So hopefully you're enjoying getting the meaning of these sentences. What I will do is I will share how to download dictionaries, and we can talk about that next time. It takes a little bit of computer knowledge to get these softwares downloaded. So if you're not very good in computers, make sure to ask someone to help you downloading these and integrating it into your computer. Otherwise, paper dictionaries always work very well too. We will take a break. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo. Yeah, please go ahead and ask a question. In the meantime, if anyone wants to take a break, please go ahead.
I have two questions. In this one we just did, Devam Pranamyam Shlokam Likhitvasa Vedan Patati, there is no and. Is that correct? Having
Yeah,
gone to God and having written a shloka, he reads the Vedas. But there's no cha. So we just put an and on our own, or we don't have to?
Right. So in Sanskrit, we don't need that.
Okay.
But when we're translating to English, it's implied, right? In Sanskrit, we know that he's doing this, and then he does this. But we don't need that and, it's implied here. But when we translate to English, we will need that and. Yeah. So he, having done this and having done this, he does this.
Thank you. And my second question is in verse number 11, sentence number 11, Sarvan lok shlokan smrutva anyan. So we've never studied the word anyan. I don't recall.
We have, it's similarly, so you can see anya, so it's just like a sarvanama.
Other, okay.
Yeah, other.
Anya, I remember anya, but I don't need anyan. Okay.
So anyan is just 2-3 of anya.
Okay, Vedan, anyan. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Of course. And Har Prasad ji, go ahead.
I got 3-4 questions to ask you. One is, I believe you said Shastra as Akaranta Pullinga. I believe it is Napumsakalinga, Shastram.
It is Napumsakalinga. You are correct.
Okay.
That was a mistake. Yeah.
That is one. And number two, can I say Ramaha cha, Bhimaha cha, Vanam Gacchati. Ramaha cha, Bhimaha cha, Vanam Gacchati, or Rama Bhima cha, Vanam Gacchati. Both are correct.
Both are correct. Just with the second sentence, you want to make sure you're still saying the visarga. So Ramaha, Bhimaha, cha, Vanam Gacchati.
Okay.
Yeah. So that both are correct.
Both are correct. So I can, if I have 4 persons, the same thing, A, B, C, D, cha.
Yep.
Okay.
Or A cha, B cha, C cha, D cha.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, in one of the examples they talk, why you have told us before, but I have forgotten. For example, in Saha, the Visarga, they don't write it. They just say Sa. Sa Tishtati, or they don't use the word Saha. It is an exam. I can, if you have the time, we can go through this, but if you want to skip it, but I would like to know the answer.
Yeah. So a quick answer is we want to make sure we're looking at Visarga Sandhi rules. So sometimes you'll see Visarga drop because of Visarga Sandhi rules. So that might be one reason.
No, it is not. It is not, because I looked into that and it is not it is not a Visarga Sandhi. I may be wrong, but I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe you can tell me which sentence later on,
Okay.
and then we can look at it because
Okay.
just we don't. So a lot of times we do see it because it's Visarga Sandhi. There might be other reasons why as well.
Okay.
So we can look at that when we see a sentence.
Okay. Already. Dhanyavadaha Mahodaya.